call, text or email you asking you to move money to another account.
Neither will we ask you to share your login details.
For more information and for tips on how you can protect yourself against fraudsters, visit halifax.co.uk/security.
So however you need us, at the Halifax,
we're here to help.
Rishad Salamat.
Let's bring in Carsten Breitfeld, Faraday Futures CEO. What do you have in your technology that others do not? Do you have a USP, a unique selling point?
Yes, we have basically two groups or two sets of technology. One is, and I'm really proud that I can say this, we have the most advanced electric powertrain technology which you can get in the market when it comes to power density of the motors, for example, and more than that, the most advanced battery technology. Our battery packs 130 kilowatt hours in a car, which is good for a range up to 400 miles. It's a flooded cell technology, which allows you to charge extremely fast with 200 kilowatt and more. And that's a technology which is not available in the market right now. And the other area, and this is why this is a strength of Faraday, combining the traditional auto world with internet and consumer electronics world, we have a technology set we call IAI, which is Internet and Artificial Intelligence. This is a whole set of communication modules, high-speed communication modules, screens, very powerful in-car computers to have a complete internet and consumer electronics technology in the car.
Hear more interviews like this one on Bloomberg Television, streaming live on Bloomberg.com and on the Bloomberg mobile app, or check your local cable listings. Markets, headlines, and breaking news 24 hours a day at Bloomberg.com, the Bloomberg Business app, and on Quick Take by Bloomberg. This is a Bloomberg Business Flash.
And I'm Karen Moscow. European stocks turned lower along with U.S. stock index futures as the risk-on mood that kicked off the week fades. Oil prices are rising for a fourth straight session. We check the markets every 15 minutes throughout the trading day on Bloomberg. Right now, the S&P futures are down 9 points. Dow futures down 63. NASDAQ futures down about 7. The DAX in Germany is down 0.4%. 10-year Treasury up 7/32, yield 0.70%. The yield on the 2-year 0.17%. NYMEX crude oil is up 2.2% or 70 cents at $32.52 a barrel. COMEX gold is up 0.2% or $4 at $17.3840 an ounce. The euro 1.0950 against the dollar. British pound 1.2244 and the yen is at 107.47. Investors are growing more confident that the German economy will recover from its worst post-war slump in the second half of the year, with businesses resuming activity after the government lifted restrictions to contain the pandemic. At the same time, concerns about the present state of Europe's largest economy are running deep amid rising unemployment and surging bankruptcies. And we are watching today for a report on housing starts and building permits out at 8:30 Wall Street time. Home Depot and Walmart among companies scheduled to report earnings today.
drop following yesterday's 3% rally on Wall Street.
Jerome Powell testifies before Congress this morning. He says the Fed will use its full range of tools to support the economy.
And President Trump threatens to cut off permanent funding to the World Health Organization.
Mayor de Blasio says New York City could reopen in June, plus Western New York State begins reopening today. I'm Michael Barr. More ahead.
I'm John Stashower. In sports, Governor Cuomo campaigns for the return of sports in New York, and a former Met wants to come out of retirement and join his old team.
That's all straight ahead on Bloomberg Daybreak. On Bloomberg 1130 New York. Bloomberg 99.1 Washington, D.C. Bloomberg 106.1 Boston. Bloomberg 960 San Francisco. Sirius XM 119. And around the world on BloombergRadio.com and via the Bloomberg Business app.
Good morning, I'm Karen Moscow.
I'm Nathan Hager. Bloomberg Daybreak is brought to you by Portfolio Analysts, powered by Interactive Brokers. Savvy investors use Portfolio Analysts to create a consolidated view of their finances and check the health of their complete financial portfolio. Sign up for free at portfolioanalyst.com.
And futures are lower this morning, 6:01 on Wall Street, and we check the markets every 15 minutes throughout the trading day on Bloomberg. S&P futures down about 11 points, Dow futures down 83, NASDAQ futures down 14. The DAX in Germany is down about 0.7%, CAC in Paris down 1.1%, and the FTSE 100 is down 0.6%. Nikkei 225 in Japan jumped 1.5%, and the Hang Seng in Hong Kong up 1.9%. 10-year Treasury up 6/30 seconds, yield 0.70%. Yield on the 2-year 0.17%. NYMEX crude oil up 1% or 33 cents at $32.15 a barrel. COMEX gold up 0.2% or $3.30 at $17.3770 an ounce. The euro 1.0948 against the dollar, and the yen is at 107.55. And Home Depot earnings crossing the Bloomberg first quarter comp sales were up 6.5%, and that was better than analysts were looking for. Nathan.
All right, thanks for that, Karen. U.S. stocks are coming off their best gain in almost 6 weeks on optimism over a possible vaccine to combat the coronavirus. We get more live from Bloomberg's John Tucker. Good morning, John.
Yeah, good morning, Nathan. The S&P 500 surged 3.2% after Moderna said its vaccine test yielded signs it can create an immune system response in the body. We spoke with the CEO of the company, Stefan Bancel.
We are finalizing the protocol for the phase 3, which is the last clinical study before approval, which we are hoping to start in July.
Moderna plans to raise as much $1.3 billion to fund the vaccine. State Street portfolio manager Michael Arnone says Monday's rally may need a new source of momentum to be sustained.
If we can find a health solution, this is important in the fact that it will lead to a much quicker and stronger recovery. And I think investors and market participants are reflecting that in cyclical shares. This is encouraging, and we'll need to see follow-through.
With yesterday's rally, the S&P 500 is up 32% from its March 23rd low. It's still 12.7% below its record high that was reached on February 19th. John Tucker, Bloomberg Daybreak.
All right, John, thanks. In Asia, stocks posted their biggest gain in more than 3 weeks. We get the recap from Bloomberg's Juliet Sally in Singapore.
Good morning, Nathan and Karen. Australian and Japanese stocks closed at their highest levels in 10 weeks on the vaccine hopes, but SoftBank shares came under pressure in Tokyo as the company closed in on a deal to sell about $20 billion of its stock in T-Mobile. China's CSI 300 up 0.8%. South Korea's Kospi up more than 2%. Airline stocks in Seoul receiving a boost as plane travel creeps back with bubble corridors. In currencies, the Indonesian rupiah strengthened after the central bank there cut rates to 4.25%, while the Taiwan dollar snapped its longest losing streak in 6 weeks, and India's rupee snapped 3 days of losses as the dollar weakened amid the risk-on tone. In Singapore, Juliet Sali, Bloomberg Daybreak.
All right, Juliet, thank you. In Europe, stocks are trading lower this morning as ministers meet to discuss the EU's progress on rebuilding the region's economies. Let's get the very latest live with Bloomberg's Ewan Potts in London. Ewan, good morning.
Good morning, Karen and Nathan. A €500 billion package to help the European Union recover from the coronavirus pandemic. In a major step towards tighter integration, Germany's Angela Merkel says she will back the plan for more borrowing by the European Commission. The funds will go to the economies hardest hit by the coronavirus, mostly in the south, and repaid from the EU's budget. The plan, though, still needs the support of other sceptical rich countries in the north of Europe, but Germany's backing is a major move forward. Live in London, I'm Ewan Potts, Bloomberg Daybreak.
Thanks, Ewan. Wall Street will be watching for congressional testimony from Federal Reserve Chairman Jerome Powell. Bloomberg's Michael McKee reports.
It's the very definition of an opening statement. Chairman Powell repeating the Fed's promise to use its full range of tools and leave the benchmark lending rate near zero until the economy is back on track. Beyond that, there's little discussion of future policy. Powell spends most of his prepared remarks for the Senate Banking Committee describing the 9 lending programs set up by the Fed to respond to the crisis. Whether they need to do more anytime soon and what that would be probably will have to wait for the question period, as might Powell's recent calls for Congress to do more. He will appear with Treasury Secretary Steven Mnuchin at what will be the Senate's first quarterly CARES Act report. Mnuchin, too, repeating regular talking points in his prepared remarks, saying again that the administration expects economic conditions to improve in the third and fourth quarters. Michael McKee, Bloomberg Daybreak.
All right, Michael, thank you. The Powell testimony will take place at 10 a.m. Wall Street time. You can catch that live on both Bloomberg Radio and television. And before that, we get earnings from Walmart, and Bloomberg's Larry Kofsky has a preview.
Analysts are expecting U.S. same-store to grow at a pace not seen in about 18 years, according to consensus metrics. That said, analysts are more cautious on profitability, with added costs related to delivery, labor, and cleaning pressuring Walmart's margins. Analysts are forecasting a profit of $1.13 a share on revenue of about $132.5 billion. Total same-store sales are seen rising 9.6% from a year ago. U.S. sales at its Walmart stores, excluding gas, are forecast to have risen 8.6%. Larry Kopp. Bloomberg Daybreak.
All right, Larry, thank you. Ahead of that, Walmart shares up 1% in early trading. Again, Home Depot reporting earnings. First quarter comp sales beating analyst estimates. It did suspend its outlook for the year. And futures this morning are lower. Straight ahead, we have the latest world and national news. And this is Bloomberg.
Okay, Karen, thanks a lot. It's 6:07 on Wall Street, and let's get more on what else is happening around the world. Here's Bloomberg's Michael Barr.
Thank you very much, Nathan. President Trump escalated his threats against the World Health Organization over its handling of the coronavirus pandemic, saying he would permanently cut U.S. funding if it does not make sweeping reforms. President Trump says he called the WHO to demonstrate independence from China. The president spoke to reporters at the White House.
China paid $40 million last year, and we've been paying $450 million a year for many years. Somehow that doesn't work out too well. So I was thinking about bringing our $450 down to $40. And some people thought that was too much. So we're going to make a decision fairly soon.
New York City is in line to meet the 7 criteria requirements to possibly ease COVID-19 restrictions next month. Mayor Bill de Blasio.
First half of June is the first opportunity to relax anything. States talked about some of the vision of how that relaxing would look. I'll be filling in those blanks in the next week or two.
New York State is gradually continuing to reopen amid dropping hospitalizations and new cases. Governor Andrew Cuomo says Western New York, including Buffalo, will reopen today. He says 525 tracers have been identified, and they are being prepared for the reopening. The governor also defended the requirement that all nursing home staff be tested 2 times a week.
No other state is requiring that the staff be tested twice a week. I understand that. I understand we have the most aggressive standard in the nation. But I also know that it is necessary.
There were 106 new deaths in the state. New Jersey will allow batting cages, golf ranges, and some other outdoor recreational areas and businesses to restart as its virus metrics continue to improve. Governor Phil Murphy says the move is effective May 22nd.
While we are not nearly out of the woods yet, and thousands of our fellow New Jerseyans remain in the hospital battling COVID-19, as you can see, we are moving forward carefully, methodically, and responsibly.
Connecticut Governor Ned Lamont says hair salons and barbershops in his state won't reopen this week after all. The state reported 41 new COVID-19 deaths. Global news 24 hours a day, on air and on Quick Take by Bloomberg, powered by more than 2,700 journalists and analysts in more than 120 countries. I'm Michael Barr. This is Bloomberg. Nathan.
Thank you, Michael. It's 6:09 on Wall Street. Time again for the Bloomberg Sports Update with John Stashower.
Nathan, as sports leagues have planned for their returns, there's been some concerns that each state would have a different feeling about it, allowing it to happen. New York Governor Andrew Cuomo says his state is all in.
Have been encouraging major sports teams to plan reopenings without fans, but the games could be televised. New York State will help those major sports franchises to do just that. Hockey, basketball, baseball, football, whoever can reopen. We're a ready, willing, and able partner.
Governors of California and Texas have also said they're ready to host games next month. One baseball player who wants to play, Bartolo Colon, turns 47 next week. Didn't pitch last season, but wants to come out of retirement and pitch again for the Mets. Colon pitched for 9 other teams, including the Yankees, but says he enjoyed his time the most while a Met. More details on what the NHL might look like upon its return. We had already learned about plans for an expanded Stanley Cup playoff field of 24 teams. Now Commissioner Gary Bettman talking about games being played in 8 or 9 locations. Las Vegas, mentioned heavily as a site for the NBA playoffs, wants in on the NHL too. Other cities in both the U.S. and Canada have expressed interest. Devils goalie Corey Schneider wonders whether it's worth the risk for a player on a team like the last-place Devils to come back and play meaningless regular season games. There is concern that 17% of NHL players are not in the U.S. or Canada right now, and they have to find a way to get back. John Stashower, Bloomberg Sports. Nathan.
Thank you, John. And NBC Sports says the return of live golf brought more than 2.3 million viewers to its platforms. NBC says that was 16% higher than the final of the Dell Match Play last year. The exhibition was up against the official return of NASCAR. Last year's Match Play was part of a TV lineup filled with sports, including NCAA's basketball tournament, Major League Baseball, and a NASCAR race. S&P futures lower by 13 points down. Futures down 121. NASDAQ futures, a loss of 21 points. You're listening to Bloomberg Daybreak.
Business is constantly evolving. Is your financial printer evolving to keep ahead of the curve? At Command Financial, we are redefining financial printing by providing industry-leading expertise, leveraging technology, and honing processes and best practices. Every day, Command helps SEC registrants, as well as members of their working groups, including securities attorneys and investment bankers, prepare, file, and disseminate regulatory and disclosure documents, such as registration statements, M&A documents, and mutual fund prospectuses and reports. Command provides a full range of services to help you effectively complete your deal, meet your disclosure requirements, and achieve your shareholder communications objectives. Visit our website at commandfinancial.com and learn how we're evolving, not only with the times, but also with your business requirements. Command Financial, redefining financial printing.
Elite advisory firms rely on BNY Mellon's Pershing to meet the needs of their most complex clients. Karen Novak, Chief Operating Officer at Pershing Advisor Solutions, explains how.
At BNY Mellon's Pershing, we bring customized insights and strategies to help you grow your advisory business and stay on the leading edge. We can support the needs of your most sophisticated clients with a full range of investment and wealth management solutions, from access to private banking to consolidated bank and brokerage custody. Learn why so many of the largest advisory firms turn to us for the financial strength and high-touch service that BNY Mellon's Pershing can provide. Are you well positioned to stand out from your competition?
Learn more at Pershing.com or call 800-445-4467. Brokerage custody provided by Pershing LLC and other services provided by Pershing Advisor Solutions LLC. Both members of FINRA and SIPC. Private banking and bank custody provided by BNY Mellon NA. Member FDIC.
Jenny Liss, Jewish. A half-price dream holiday, wouldn't want to miss that. A takeaway for free, wouldn't want to miss that. And 30 gigs data for just £10 a month on Smarty Mobile. You definitely don't want to miss that. Our Smarty SIM comes packed with 30 gigs of data and unlimited calls and texts for just £10 a month on a 1-month plan. That's why Smarty won Best Value SIM-only network in the USwitch Mobile Awards 2020. Don't miss out. Search Smarty Mobile. Smarty. Simple, honest mobile. Smarty.co.uk.
Life isn't always easy at the moment. We can feel frustrated, miss loved ones, or get anxious. But there are simple things we can all do to look after our mental well-being at this time. Every Mind Matters will get you started with personalised tips and advice from the NHS. Whether it's dealing with stress, techniques to help you relax, or simple tips for better sleep, we'll help you find what's right for you. Search Every Mind Matters today.
Picture in your mind a stylish Audi with striking LED headlights, sporty alloy wheels, and some of our most advanced features, including a 10-inch digital cockpit and smart assistant systems like lane departure warning. Picture what that Audi looks like. Now think smaller. The Audi A1. It's not a small car, it's a small Audi. Visit audi.co.uk. Audi. Vorsprung durch Technik.
Pauline. Love may be blind, but it has a new smell.
Pauline, the new fragrance from Euro Millions winner Pauline Hinchcliffe.
Tonight's Euro Millions jackpot is a massive £15 million. That's dream come true money. Euro Millions from the National Lottery. Your numbers make amazing happen. Play online or on the app. Estimated jackpot. Rules and procedures apply. Players must be 16 or over.
Conversations from Bloomberg Television. Here's Rishad Salamat.
Let's move it along. Have a look at the hotel industry, because it, of course, has been ravaged by the global pandemic. Travel, of course, shut down globally. And Marriott International seeing its revenue per available room, or RevPAR, falling 90% last month. But it says there are signs Greater China is starting to bounce back. Our next guest was just promoted to oversee the company's international business outside of North America, and joining us exclusively now is Marriott International Group President Craig Smith. Thank you so much for joining us, Craig. How bad is it?
It's been tough. I've been in the industry 32 years, and this has been the toughest time period. You can see more gray hair since the last time we spoke. But the good news is we're starting to see glimmers of hope, especially in China, South Korea, and also in Australia. And so that's encouraging for us to feel like we're starting to come out of the storm.
So you are seeing some green shoots, though, Craig, if I'm not mistaken. I just mentioned China. Tell us a little bit about that story and other places as well where you perhaps are having a little bit of a sigh of relief.
Yeah, China, the numbers are starting to pick up. And so last month we finished at around 30% occupancy. We've seen good numbers, especially over the May 1st holiday. We've had a lot of travel, places like Hainan, which is kind of the Hawaii of China, so to speak.
Hear more interviews like this one on Bloomberg Television, streaming live on Bloomberg.com and on the Bloomberg mobile app, or check your local cable listings. Markets, headlines, and breaking news 24 hours a day at Bloomberg.com, the Bloomberg Business app, and on Quick Take by Bloomberg. This is a Bloomberg Business Flash.
And I'm Karen Moscow. This update brought to you by Stevens Institute of Technology. Be a leader in the digital transformation of any business sector with an online master's degree or graduate certificate in information systems. Visit stevens.edu/info systems. And we continue to watch shares of Home Depot this morning down 2.8% in early trading. First quarter profit missing analyst estimates, and it suspended its outlook for the year due to uncertainty surrounding the COVID-19 pandemic. It also says limited store traffic had an impact on sales. Still, first quarter comp sales beat analyst estimates. European stocks are moving lower this morning, so are U.S. stock index futures. We check the markets every 15 minutes throughout the trading day on Bloomberg. futures are down about 14 points. Dow futures down 119. NASDAQ futures down 23. The DAX in Germany is down 0.8%. 10-year Treasury up 5/30 seconds. Yield 0.70%. The yield on the 2-year 0.17%. NYMEX crude oil is up 1% or 33 cents at $32.15 a barrel. COMEX gold is up 0.2% or $3.10 at $1737.50 an ounce. Michael Barr with more on what's going on around the world. Michael.
Thank you, Karen. President Donald Trump said he is taking hydroxychloroquine, the anti-malaria drug that he's promoted as a treatment to combat coronavirus infection, despite government warnings that it can cause serious side effects. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi says that she would rather President Trump not be taking something that has not been approved by scientists. President Trump says he is surprised by Attorney General William Barr's declaration that he sees no cause for a criminal investigation into former President Barack Obama, claiming he is the victim of a double standard. The president has suggested without evidence that Obama and Biden broke the law during the Russia investigation. Global news 24 hours a day, on air and on Quick Take by Bloomberg, powered by more than 2,700 journalists and analysts from more than 120 countries. I'm Michael Barr. This is Bloomberg. Nathan.
Okay, Michael, thank you. It is 6:19 on Wall Street, live from the Bloomberg Interactive Brokers Studios. This is Bloomberg Daybreak, and we're getting an eye on retail earnings this morning, including Walmart, one of the essential businesses during the pandemic. Later this hour, we're going to find out how that's paid off for investors when the retail giant reports its first quarter earnings. And here with a preview is Jennifer Bartasha, senior analyst for Bloomberg Intelligence. Nice to talk with you this morning, Jennifer. I guess it wouldn't be too much of a surprise if we see a top-line number that's a blowout, would we?
Good morning. No, there will be no surprise that the top line will be very, very strong for Walmart this quarter. They're looking at potential same-store sales that are the highest in almost 2 decades. And that's really driven by the consumers stocking up ahead of COVID and then really needing to replenish those important supplies as they've been confined at home.
Well, that raises the question of how much of a difference we're going to see between sales of those essential grocery-like items and more discretionary purchases that you might not think would have been top of mind for consumers during this time.
Yes, Walmart is going to have very, very strong sales when it comes to food, consumables, household essentials, and